Deep in the Pacific Ocean, just east of the Philippines, there's a place that feels almost unreal. It's called the Mariana Trench, but that name doesn't quite capture what it really is. It's not just deep, it's an endless, dark abyss. A place where going down feels like vanishing into nothingness. At nearly 11,000 meters below the surface, sunlight doesn't exist anymore. It's complete darkness. And the pressure? It's so intense that it would feel like something massive is crushing you from every direction. For a long time, very few dared to explore this place. But recently, one country has been pushing forward without hesitation: China. They're not just studying the ocean anymore, they're sending robots deep below, planning permanent bases, and trying to secure valuable resources hidden under the seabed before anyone else. At the same time, many Western countries, including the United States, seem to have slowed down their deep-sea exploration efforts. Which raises a big question. What's really down there? Why is China so determined to go deeper and deeper? If you start from the ocean's surface, everything looks calm and bright. But as you go down, that familiar world quickly disappears. Up to about 200 meters, there's still light and life everywhere. But beyond that, darkness begins to take over. The deeper you go, the dimmer everything gets. And the pressure keeps increasing, slowly but relentlessly, like an invisible force squeezing you tighter and tighter. By the time you reach 1 kilometer down, sunlight is completely gone. And that's where things start to get strange. Creatures here don't rely on sunlight, they create their own light. They glow in the dark to hunt, survive, and communicate. Go even deeper, and you'll find even more unusual life. Strange fish, long-armed squids, and creatures that look almost alien, all somehow surviving in extreme pressure and total darkness. At around 4,000 meters, you enter a zone that feels like an underwater desert. The seafloor is covered in layers of sediment built over millions of years. Tiny particles, dead plankton, bits of fish, dust, slowly fall from above, forming what scientists call marine snow. It might look empty, but it's actually holding a long history of the planet. Still, life here is rare because food is scarce. But sometimes something extraordinary happens. If a whale dies and sinks to the bottom, it creates an entire ecosystem. Creatures gather around it, feeding and surviving for years. This event is known as a whale fall. Then comes the trench itself, beyond 6,000 meters. This is where conditions become extreme. The pressure here is more than 600 times what we feel at sea level. And at the very bottom lies the Challenger Deep, the deepest point of the Mariana Trench. Even here, life exists. Strange, tiny organisms and pale, shrimp-like creatures have been found in this pitch-black world. Humans have only reached this depth a few times. The first was in 1960, when 2 explorers made the historic dive. Decades later, in 2012, filmmaker James Cameron made another journey down. And more recently, others have tried to explore it further. In 2020, China made a major move by sending a submersible carrying 3 people all the way down to the trench floor. That alone was historic, but they didn't stop there. They started developing smaller, smarter, and more efficient robots. In 2024, they sent down a robot no bigger than a shoebox. It explored the seafloor on its own and returned safely. That moment showed something important. What once required huge, expensive missions can now be done with small, intelligent machines. Now imagine not just one, but hundreds of these robots, each doing different tasks, quietly exploring and mapping the ocean floor. That's exactly what China is working toward. But exploration isn't the only goal. The deep ocean holds something incredibly valuable: resources. Some places down there operate in ways we still don't fully understand, with ecosystems that exist without sunlight. One of the most fascinating discoveries is methane hydrate, often called fire ice. It looks like ice, but if you ignite it, it burns. Scientists believe it could be a powerful energy source for the future. But it's risky. Disturbing these deposits could destabilize the sea floor or release huge amounts of methane gas, which could impact both the ocean and the atmosphere. Then there are polymetallic nodules, small, rock-like formations packed with valuable metals. These are essential for modern batteries, electric vehicles, and future technologies. As demand grows, countries that don't secure these resources could fall far behind. That's why the deep ocean is becoming so important. It's no longer just about science, it's about control, resources, and the future of energy. And there's another layer to this story. Beneath the ocean, there are millions of kilometers of submarine cables. These cables carry the internet, financial transactions, and even sensitive military data. They might look strong, but they're actually quite fragile. A single accident, like an anchor or fishing net, can damage them and disrupt global communication. In 2025, China revealed a robot designed to repair these cables deep underwater. But the same technology could also cut them silently. There's no proof it's been used that way, but the possibility alone is enough to worry many countries. Because if someone gains control over these underwater systems, it could affect communication, business, and security across the entire world. That's why the deep ocean is no longer just a place of mystery. It's becoming a new kind of battlefield, one where power isn't visible, but the impact is global. The truth is, the depths we once feared might now hold the key to the future. But if too much control ends up in the hands of a single power, the consequences won't just affect one country, it could affect all of us.